Welcome back. We're in another look. You see how low production value this is? It's supposed to be. Don't comment about it. Don't make comments about it. Don't even think about it. It's supposed to be low budget. It's supposed to be about the content. I don't want it to look high production. I want you to focus on saying. Anyway, we are rounding the corner. We have 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. We are going to finish Luke this week. We've got some heavy passages coming up. So, let's get into it, shall we? I was drinking some sparkling water and now I'm a little bit burpy. But we're going to try to get through this. On one of the days, this is Luke 20. On one of the days, while he was teaching the people in the temple and preaching the gospel, the chief priests and the scribes with the elders confronted him, and they spoke, saying to him, "Tell us by what authority you are doing these things, or who is the one who gave you this authority?" But Jesus answered and said to them, "I will ask you a question, and you tell me. Was the baptism of John from heaven or from men?" So they reasoned with them among themselves, saying, "If we say from heaven, he will say, 'Why did you not believe him?' But if we say from men, all the people will stone us to death, for they are convinced that John was a prophet." So they answered, "We do not know where it came from." And Jesus said to them, "Well, then I will not tell you, nor will I tell you by what authority I do these things." You can't play games with Jesus, man. And he began to tell the people this parable. A man planted a vineyard and rented it out to the vine growers and went on a journey for a long time. At the harvest time, he sent a slave to the vine growers so that they would give him some of the produce from the vineyard. But the vine growers beat him and sent him away empty-handed. And he proceeded to send another slave, and they beat him also and treated him shamefully and sent him away empty-handed. And he proceeded to send a third. This one also they wounded and cast out. The owner of the vineyard said, "What shall I do? I will send my beloved son, and perhaps they will respect him." But when the vine growers saw him, they reasoned with one another, saying, "This is the heir. Let us kill him, so that the inheritance will be ours." So they threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. What then will the owner do to of the vineyard? What will the owner of the vineyard do to them? He will come and destroy the vine growers and the vineyard, and give the vineyard to others. When they heard it, they said, "May it never be." Ha ha ha. But Jesus looked at them and said, What then is this that was written? The stone which the builders rejected, this became the chief cornerstone. Everyone who falls on that stone will be broken to pieces. But on whomever it falls, it will scatter him like dust. The scribes and the chief priests tried to lay hands on him that very hour, and they feared the people, for they understood that he spoke this parable against them. So they watched him and sent spies to who pretended to be righteous, in order that they might catch him in some statement, so that they could deliver him to the rule and authority of the governor. They questioned him, saying, "Teacher, we know you speak and teach correctly, and you are not partial to anything, or you are not partial to any, but teach the way of God in truth. Is it lawful for us to pay taxes to Caesar or not?" But he detected their trickery and said, "Show me a denarius. And whose likeness and inscription does it have?" They said, "Caesar's." And he said to them, "Then render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." And they were unable to catch him in saying in the presence of the people. Well, it doesn't say what they were trying to get him to say. And being amazed at his answer, they became silent. So they were trying to catch him, and they were like, "Oh, snap, dude. Oh, snap, dude." Now, there came to him some of the Sadducees who were saying there is no resurrection. Some of them say this now. And they questioned him, saying, "Teacher, Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies, having a wife, and he is childless, his brother should marry the wife and raise the children to his brother." Now, there were 7 brothers, and the first took a wife and died childless. The second and third married her, and in the same way, all 7 died, leaving no children. Finally, the woman died. In the resurrection, which one's wife will she be? For all 7 had married her. And Jesus said to them, "The sons of this age married and are given in marriage, but those who are considered worthy to attain to the age that is the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage, for they cannot even die anymore, because they are like angels and are sons of God, being sons of the resurrection. But the dead are raised," even Moses showed in the passage about the burning bush, where he calls the Lord the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Now he is not God of the dead, but of the living, for all live in him. Some of the scribes answered and said, "Teacher, you have spoken well," for they did not have courage to question him any longer about anything. He shut it down. He said to them, "How is it that they say the Christ is David's son? For David himself says in the book of Psalms, 'The Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand, until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet.' Then therefore David calls him Lord. And then how is he his son?" And while all the people were listening, he said to the disciples, "Beware of the scribes, who like to walk around in long robes, love respectful greetings in the marketplaces, in the chief seats in the synagogues, in the places of honor, in the banquets, who devour widows' houses, and for appearance sake offer long prayers. These will receive greater condemnation." So this is a hearkening back to the last few chapters where he's been touching on this same topic several times, this last portion right here from 45 through 47. So, let's see. So let me get back to the top. All right. So this first section here, how this version has it broken out, they're questioning his authority, right? And this is a common thing. Anytime you're trying to trip somebody up, you make an appeal to authority, right? This is a logical fallacy. He's saying all this stuff, and they're like, "Well, what gives you the authority to say this? What's your credentials?" And so he hits them with the 22. He goes, "Well, what was John's authority? Heaven or man?" They go, "Well, we don't know." He goes, "Well, you're not gonna then, are you? Bye-bye." Then the parable of the vine growers. Now, there's a wild olive tree, I think is the Instagram page that I see a lot of, and there's a line. And I don't know where this guy particularly falls on it, but he's on my he's on my Instagram feed quite a bit. And there's a lot of other people that are popular today that are talking about this. The church replaces Israel as God's chosen people. Let's dissect it a little bit, because it may be a little bit more nuanced than that. But let's look, because this is you couldn't get more on the nose than this, right? So there's the vineyard. There's the work. There's the resource. There's the area, the place, the thing, and it's been entrusted to these vine growers. Right? It says rented out. Right? So they have been given permission or the privilege of being responsible, I guess it would be. They're the ones that have been entrusted this vineyard. They are responsible for this vineyard. And the owner left. He's gone. He's been distant. So then he sends slaves, prophets, to go and check on these folks, and they beat them. Right? He sends some slaves to go collect the produce. Right? Get some fruits. Get some return on the investment. And they beat him, the prophets. Right? So imagine that the produce is truth and the knowledge of God. Right? That's the produce. They've been given this relationship and this privilege of having this relationship, and the produce is expansion. What are the fruits of the faith? The knowledge of God, right? What is expanded? What has been sown? What's the result? And instead of just saying nothing or giving something, maybe not much, maybe the worst of it, they beat the guy that came to collect. The person that says, hey, what are y'all doing? They beat that guy and sent him away empty-handed 3 times. What's going on here? Beat him and sent him away. Hey, I've been sent by the owner, and he just wants to collect a little bit of this. Beat him and sent him on his way with nothing. How about that, buddy? Then the owner sends his son, right? God sends Jesus into the midst and says, hey, I'm here to collect. Let's show some respect. They somehow think that they're going to kill him and take over the vineyard. But Jesus says, specifically to them, what do you think God's going to do to you when you kill his son, you think you're just going to keep going? You think you're going to inherit the vineyard? No. The owner of the vineyard is going to destroy the vine growers and give the vineyard to others. He's going to destroy your institution, this thing that you've supposed to been being the steward of, that you're supposed to have been caring for and spreading and growing and developing and having fruits. And he's going to, like we were talking about in the podcast this week, or we'll be talking about in the podcast this week, wipes the board clean and starts over. He just destroys the entire institution of Judaism. He takes all of that away. The vineyard is gone. And God is thorough, right? When he wipes the board clean, he's thorough. It's all gone. The institution is gone. The identity is gone. The bloodline is gone. The land is gone. The faith is gone. It's all gone. It's been given to others. Christians. So, when they say, may it never be, and then he writes, right, they say that he tries to lay hands on them, or they try to lay hands on him. Where does it say? Where does it say? Hold on, let me pull it up so you're not just looking at me making weird faces. You guys find it here for me. Let us kill him, and they say, may never be. Jesus said, what is written? Everyone follows in the scribes and Pharisees tried to lay hands on him at the very hour they feared the people. They understood. Oh, that the parable was spoken against them. The scribes and the chief priests. These are the people that were making the law and dispersing the law. They were abusing the law. They were manipulating it and perverting it. That the parable, this parable, was spoken against them. So, here is just a thought. Again, people who are married to the original thought are going to, whatever. But to just be nuanced and to be open to other possibilities, not that you have to be, but just for the sake of, the chief priests and the scribes represent the institution. The perversion of what the real thing was supposed to be. The parable is spoken against them. They're the ones that lead the people into even chanting for Jesus to be crucified in the first place. They do all this nonsense at the end of the night, secretly and when they're not supposed to and all this kind of stuff. They break all of the laws in order to even prosecute Jesus. And it's just a bunch of hogwash. Even the unbelievers are like, I don't see anything wrong with this guy. He's not done anything wrong. So he knows that they know that they're perpetrating this. The leadership, the institution, the keepers of the law. So, obviously, we know from history that he did wipe the board clean. And the folks that were relying on the bloodline, well, the bloodline's kind of gone, and it's up in question. Look it up. The land is obviously was gone for 2,000 years almost, and then highly contested at the moment. The religion is just nothing. It's not even an echo of what it was. It's just completely false gods. Not the God of their fathers. It's been decimated. So, yeah. The nuance that I'm referring to is just to be careful with replacement theology is all. Let's get into the next section here. The scribes, Pharisees, they try to lay hands on it. Yeah, so they try to trick him up with this thing, because right here, if he says to not pay taxes to Caesar, that's like, insubordinate. That's like insurrection talk. That's illegal. They report him to the Roman authorities. And they'd imprison him, kill him, whatever they wanted to do. So he knows exactly. I mean, he's too slick for this amateur stuff. Just, nah. If he's got his face on it, give it to him. Give it to God what is God's, right? Your obedience, your heart, your life. They won't do that. Then we get to the Sadducees and this ridiculous story about the wives and stuff. And he's like, no, when you're in heaven, there's no marriage. Which, when I first heard this, honestly, I was bummed. Because my dad explained it to me. And he was like, yeah, there's no marriage. There's no, whoever your wife is, she's not your wife in heaven. Your children are not your children in heaven. Your parents are not your parents in heaven. You'll know who they are, most likely, or who they were to you. And you will be happy in the fulfillment of those commitments that they made to you. And whatever memories you might have, the good stuff, you won't remember any of the bad. But your relationship with them is now just brother and sister. That's it. You are just the bride of Christ. You are just sons of God now. So there's no, us as a group are married to Jesus, and and not like this male-female marriage thing, but just our covenant, our vows are confirmed, and we're bound to him, right? And our loyalties are to him, and it's to its max, so there's no other like, oh, but I'm also in this commitment, in this relationship. No, we're all equal here, and we're all fully committed to Jesus. That's it. So I was kind of bummed, because I'm like, oh, dang. And especially after being married and then like reading past this again, I'm like, oh, dang, dude, like my wife won't be my wife anymore. It's kind of sad, but the level of that relationship is going to be, our covenants to each other will be fulfilled, and there'll be a lot of pride and happiness in that, and good pride, like, whatever. Then he gets into this interesting thing that literally trips up so many people. Jesus, right, the Christ, the Savior, is called the Son of David, but David, in referring to the Christ, says, the Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool at your feet. And he's saying, Christ is called goodness gracious, Christ is called the Son of David. But David, right, the Son of David, it's my Lord said to my Lord. He's elevating both of them above himself. But he's also called David's son. So how does this work? where if you're the son of someone else, they're greater than you. But David is saying that they are both greater than him, and he's not distinguishing between the two. They are both my Lord, my Lord. How does David understand this when most of the Bible isn't even written? But he does. It's revealed to him, just like it's revealed to all of us. But these guys don't get it. And then he gets into the end where, beware of these phony guys. And I've said it, and we talked about it in a podcast, and we'll probably talk about it again at some time because we just keep hitting these points here. Beware of these, and I get that it comes from, I get that traditionally it comes from a place of humility. I get that. It comes from a place of being lowly and being separated and being sanctified or whatever, and like it signifying that you're separate. I get it. I get where it comes from. But what it is turned into, same as it did for them, beware of the guys who will sit there with the diamond-encrusted gems, golden cross, the pendants, and the headdresses, and the robes, and the long prayers, and the respectful handshakes, and the greetings, and the everywhere that they go, and the hugging and kissing babies, shaking hands and kissing baby stuff that we see religious figures doing, right? The mega church pastors, the Eastern Orthodox robe wearing, gems, crosses, pendants, robes with the trim on it and all that stuff, and crosses, and the popes and the bishops with their just all white, golden, everything just over the top, and the seats at the fancy tables, and it's just beware. Beware. They have a greater condemnation coming to them. Thanks for watching. I'm so excited to be rounding the corner on Luke. It's what a great read this has been. I'll see you in the next one. Read your Bible.